Welcome back to Grow Tropical Fruits. I'm Shiloh and I wanted to do a quick little video on propagating jabuticaba via cuttings or rooted cuttings. So a lot of people have commented, or maybe not a lot of people, but I have seen comments of people saying that you can't root jabuticaba and it's impossible, and that's definitely not true. It is definitely hard, but it's not impossible. So I do a little progress update today on my rooted project and see where we're at right now. So here I have my little humidity dome where I put my rooted cuttings, or my cuttings into, to hopefully get them to root. So I just figured I would come in and see how they're doing and if there's any signs of progress, because a lot of times you'll see that they'll still be green and happy and healthy in there, but that doesn't mean that they've actually rooted. There have been many cases where people will see new flushes of growth on their attempts of rooting some cuttings, but no roots will actually develop. That's pretty common, but it is still possible to root some cuttings. So here I have several different species of plants, but the majority of it is jabuticaba of some more rare varieties, since that seems to be the biggest reason why you'd want to root something, is if it's a little bit more rare, since you can just plant seeds of something else, something less rare, if you wanted to grow it. So here, these ones have been in here the oldest, so we'll just take a look at them and see if they have any roots. Down in here you can see that there are leaf drop on some of them, so that's usually a bad sign if it has leaf drop. This one though hasn't lost any leaves and it looks pretty happy, so I have good hope for this one. These two down here I recently added, I believe this one as well, so those are most certainly not rooted yet. This one has been in here a while as well, and it doesn't have any leaf drop, so I'm expecting that one to have good results as well. So let's first look at the oldest one, this one here, and see if we carefully remove it, if there's any roots showing out of the bottom. So I'm going to lift it carefully, and yeah, sure enough, there's some roots sticking out the bottom there, at least on one of them. The other two may not take. It's more of a numbers game. The more you have in there, the more likely something is going to root successfully. And this is the variety Anomaly that Adam at Flying Fox Fruits has named. So that one for sure has taken, and it looks very healthy. Has good roots sticking out the bottom. So this one I'm actually going to pot up today, because that's for sure a win. I'm worried about the roots sticking out of the bottom there, so I'm probably just going to cut the plastic off. So let's put this one back for now, look at some other ones, see if they've rooted as well. So what was it, this one I think here? This one looks promising. Maybe this one here. Let's just dig them out and see if there's anything underneath. It feels like it could have roots. I'm just being really careful. Nope. So no roots sticking out of this one. Doesn't mean it hasn't rooted, but since it doesn't show anything, it's not ready to be potted up. So we'll put that one back. Let's look at this other one in front of it. This one's been in here the same age, so let's see if I can carefully pull it up. Oh yeah, I see a root already. It's caught on something. So let me move this other one. Put it off to the side. Hopefully this root stays intact. I'm just kind of peeling it up. Oh yeah, here I have a rooted, well, I got a rooted leaf growing into this, as well as this being rooted, I believe. Or this is just all the leaf. That's interesting. I didn't expect that. So this leaf has taken on some roots. So this is going to be curious whether or not this one's actually rooted. So I'll give it a little tug to see. It feels like it's in there pretty good. So I'm going to assume that that has rooted. Might be able to peel it open a little and see if there's any signs. So there's no roots on the top port. Usually you want the root, you only see the roots coming in out of the bottom of the cut. Yeah, I think that's got a root, but I'll just, in the name of science, keep unpeeling. Yeah, okay, so this definitely has a root. So that's, and I think this is a separate root. So that one just started rooting, and then this leaf has kind of taken over this root Riot plug, it looks like. So we're gonna kind of dissect this a bit and see what's going on. Yeah, this guy just started rooting. Nothing really substantial. But this leaf has taken over the root Riot plug and has got a good amount of roots growing off of it. So this one I'm going to see if I can make happy in a small pot or something. That's very curious. I didn't expect that to happen. So I'll carefully lay this somewhere. So put this down. And this guy worked, but we just need it to sit in here a lot longer to develop better root system. Let's see if any of these other leaves have rooted in here. I see a green leaf here that looks like it might have a root sticking out of it. So let's come up on it and double check. I'll carefully pull this guy out. It's got a root. So just from one leaf grew this big long root from it. Whether or not it decides it wants to grow into a plant is another story. So I'll set that down over in this rooted pile here. See if there's anything else in here. So these finger limes I just put in there, so they're not going to be rooted yet. But behind it, there's some more leaves, so let's poke around. Oh, this one feels like it's got something firm on it. Let's pull on it. Oh, like another rooted leaf. leaf, just like the other two. Nice new growth on it. Put that back over there. See if any of these other leaves are rooted. Nope. So that one's dead. Not going to work. You can see how it's not green at the end anymore. It's definitely not going to work. Not pointed the right way. And these leaves were not dipped in any sort of hormone. So those just rooted on their own. Here's another cutting. It looks like it has new growth down at the bottom there. So that most likely has rooted. It's pretty firm in there. So that might require a little more excavation to try and get it out carefully. Let's see if these other leaves have roots. Huh, curious. This leaf, I don't know if you can see, started rooting and it's not even like really in the soil. So I'll put that back in with these other ones over here. What about this one here? Nope, that one's not going to work. Throw that away. What else do we got in here? So this one I just put in sort of recently. It fell off a tree. I doubt it's going to have any roots. It's a big Plinia leaf. Let's put this over here out of the way. Just throwing out ones that are definitely not going to root. So this one, let's try and move it out of the way. And look for roots from this one. Yeah, that one's definitely rooted. I can feel it in there. So I'm going to just try and come in underneath with my finger to loosen up the moss, peat moss. Okay, this whole thing is roots. So there's an example of a healthy rooted cutting with plenty of happy roots that this one for sure would survive being pot up. Because sometimes I'll pull them a little too early and then try and pot them up and then they don't take. So this one I'll throw off to the side over here. Let's see if there's anything else in this bin. I think that's pretty much everything on this one. There's this guy down here actually. That's some Garcinia. It's not going to work. Oh, this has got a root. I can feel it. Let's plant these leaves. Let's see if this is going to work. Oh, yeah, it's got a little baby root sticking out of it. So that needs to be repotted or replanted. Okay, let's try and save these things that are trying to blow away. Put them back in. So this, dig around some more, see if there's anything else rooted in here. Nope. Okay. A lot of times disturbing them like this to check for roots will set them back or maybe even kill them. But I'm just doing this so that I could show people that not to give up. You can definitely do this even if others suggest it's not possible, because they probably wouldn't believe you if you say that you can root a leaf on a jabuticaba. And I'm here to show you that you can. It's whether or not it turns into a plant is the real question. There's probably some nutrients that you're supposed to give, some maybe cytokines or like growth hormones or something to create a trigger within the leaf to actually grow new leaf or new stalks and stuff, new branches. But right now we're not at that level yet. We're just amazed that it leaf rooted, and we'll continue down the path of experimentation until we figure out how to make that into the next best thing. But this one really surprised me how it took over this root Riot plug. So let's plant this somewhere. Oh, this feels like it might have a root. Oh, yep, got another rooted leaf. And look at this root ball on this leaf. If you don't believe me, look, it's holding it all up. So that one I'll probably pot up, but first we'll just let it keep doing its thing in here. Find another spot for it to go beast mode. Hopefully it'll grow something, some new branch or something from it. I'm running out of space in this thing. I wasn't expecting this many successful rooted leaves, especially since I don't think on any of the rooted leaves, maybe a couple, but most of them did not get any sort of growth hormone, rooting hormone. Whereas these ones did. They either got dipped and soaked in some Clonex, which is an IBA rooting hormone, which you can see there, or they were used with Dip and Grow, which is a combination of IBA and NAA. NAA is suggested to be the better hormone for jabuticaba rooting in people that are much more knowledgeable at the subject than me. So you can try that as well. I think I do 5x concentration on the Dip and Grow. These ones I'm not sure what I did. It could be either one of those two things I used. So I'm going to plant this guy back in too. Just, it's in a root Riot plug, but I'm just sticking it into the peat moss to try and give it plenty of space for roots to grow. Pack some more around it. Okay. Did I get all the roots? Oh yeah, this one needs to be potted again. Planted again, I mean. So I'll find a spot for it. So that's rooted, that's rooted. We'll put it over here. I might have just broke it. So give that a chance to grow more roots. And then let's see if there's anything else in here. Okay. Yeah, this one I'm not sure what to do with. If I should try and pot it up or just let it go wild. I'll just put it back in here. Because my experience with the rooted leaves is they don't really take kindly to being pulled from the humidity dome and then potted up. Because it probably dries them out too fast. Probably have to transition it better. And my approach to this has definitely not been what ways are kindest to the plant. It's more like trial by fire. Just make them, the strong will survive. yeah, let's see, what ones did I need to pot up? So we'll just do this one over here. It's actually got a good root ball. And you can see these guys are some examples of rooted cuttings that I have potted up. This one here is the very first rooted cutting I did. It was roughly this size of this one here when it started. And then now you can see how big the trunk is and all the new growth. It essentially started from like a little tiny branch off to the side, and then now it's put out a bunch of new growth. See roots sticking out the bottom. Same with all these other ones. All this is new growth. New growth. And all this top is new growth. Original cutting is right here down. And then this cutting here was not used in a humidity dome or any hormones. It was just plucked from a variegated jabuticaba and stuck in the ground because it didn't have irrigation. And I didn't anticipate it to survive, and then all of a sudden I pulled it out and it had roots. So I put it in this little pot and it has new growth. So even no hormones is possible to root jabuticaba. So we have this one here that I really want to pot up. The Anomaly. Oh, here's one I forgot to put in the ground. Again, this Anomaly. I pulled it from a root Riot plug. I probably should have kept. Here's part of the plug. I'll just kind of encapsulate it here and then drop it in. By these other ones. Here's another root Riot plug. I'll just tear off and stick around it. And then throw a good amount of this moist peat moss around it so that it has places for the roots to go. Okay. So now let's assess how to get this Anomaly potted up. So this was potted or cut and put in here on 4/18/2021, and it's now 9/2/2021. So almost 5 months. It's been chilling in here. First, let's cut it out of this tray. And put the rest back in here in hopes that they decide to get their act together and start rooting as well. If not, again, no worries. It's all about a numbers game. The more you have, the more likely you'll be successful. Let's try and cut this container off so I don't damage the roots. Since I think there's not going to be much roots inside this area, it's mostly going to be the ones that are sticking out the bottom. Oh, looks like there are some. I probably just cut through some. Yep. Dang it. So there is some risk in what I'm doing here too. Let's just try and peel it. Yeah, dang, I cut a good root. So maybe not the strongest root structure to decide to pot it up, but we're going to do it anyway. So let's get carefully put this guy in here. And this potting mix is kind of like a mix of several things, but the majority of it is Promix HP and added peat moss. There's some remnants of other stuff like vermiculite and kelp meal and crab meal and cottonseed meal, alfalfa meal, all that kind of stuff, but I kept diluting it with more and more Promix and more peat moss. So there's probably only very little of that stuff in this potting mix. And then I gotta rename this guy to be correct since I'm reusing pots. But this looks pretty happy. Give it some water. Some rainwater. Now, this should go somewhere where it's going to be at least in the shade, so it doesn't endure too much shock since I'm pulling it out of the humidity dome. I could probably put like a bag over it to keep the humidity high to help it transition. Alternatively, if it was shallow enough, I could probably get it under here. Yeah, I could probably fit it in here, so let's try that. Let's find a spot where I didn't plant a bunch of stuff. So let's move this one here to the front. And this spot right here should be about prime real estate. Let's see if it's too tall. And this planting medium is just sphagnum peat moss. And then these are little ceramic, expanded ceramic. They're used in, where are they used in? Hydroponics systems. So you can, I figured that was something I would try, and I don't know if it helps because I've only done it with it, but I'm gonna put these guys over here in the peat. Let's see if the dome will fit over it. I'm gonna put this one somewhere too. Need a little more peat for that. That plant there. So now it'll absorb the water. Okay. Moment of truth. Good. So that will eliminate the shock of this being potted up. It'll be now in this same humidity spot where it was growing anyway. So it can't really be too unhappy, even though I just cut some roots off. Hopefully still enough roots to be happy. And then I need to pot that one up. That one should be fine wherever I put it because of how much roots it has. But in any case, I hope you learned something. And if you want to follow along more about what I'm doing, go ahead and subscribe, and I'll come back with some more follow-up videos on how these rootings take. I have a couple other videos planned where I'm going to be doing some grafting, double rootstock grafting, as well as approach grafting. So when I get a minute, I'll shoot those videos and then upload them. And if you had any questions, go ahead and put them down in the comments section. You guys have a good one. Stay safe out there. Bye.